Supporting a fascist regime on social media is not support. It's spreading hate speech, and it will be reported every time. You've been warned. Dyze in your house. When I used to joke about rising fascism in America and the fall of democracy, I really thought I was being, like, over the top.
Staten Island niggas still puffing dust plus representing Staten Island.
I mean, like, all kidding aside, I'm a high school dropout. I never thought the words autocracy and kleptocracy would be in my vernacular. I just never thought that would be a thing.
Staten Island niggas still puffing dust plus.
It's very, very difficult and frustrating to have progressive ideology living on Staten Island, or as I call it, North Texas. Example, your weed dealer pulls away and he's got a Trump Pence hat sitting on his back windshield. This is real life.
Representing Staten Island. Staten Island niggas still puffing dust plus.
The most important thing you can do for me listening to this podcast is to not get sidetracked with distractions and nonsense. There is a person occupying the Oval Office who has committed crimes every single day of his life. And the only way to combat this is not to look at polls, it's to go vote in November.
Staten Island niggas still puffing dust plus. Representing Staten Island.
Want to hear a little story about some of those people who are going to be voting in November? I'll tell you. People that value guns over children. People who think the South will rise again. People that think ending slavery was a failed experiment. White nationalists.
Representing Staten Island. Staten Island niggas still puffing dust plus.
Be a part of ending the rise of fascism and the fall of democracy in America by keeping it locked to East Coast Radio, Dyze in your house, and hit the polls in November. Hey, yo. Who's in the house? Dyze in your house. What is the word, peeps? It is Friday. It is a bit late, but better late than never, as they say. I am here, J Porks, coming to you with another action-packed edition of Dyze in your house on Least Coast Radio. Remember, you can always subscribe to Least Coast Radio for the least heard voices. All you can do is go to iTunes, search Least Coast Radio, or you can go to YouTube, search Least Coast Radio. You know what? You can even type into the podcast app, Least Coast Radio, or you can type in J Porks, or you can even shout out my government name if you want, and it'll come up. I put it on there so I'd be easily accessible because I have family members that are like, oh, Jason, I want to hear the podcast. Okay, so I put my name on it now. I put my name on that. Alright, guys, listen. First of all, whoever stuck with me this week, we had a good week. On Monday, we had a brand new edition of Dyze in Your House, a little surprise edition of Dyze in Your House for Monday. That was supposed to be for Tuesday. But because the J Porks podcast, the long-form 90-minute edition of the J Porks podcast, got pushed back to Tuesday, we moved our Tuesday edition up to Monday. So you had Dyze in Your House on Monday. You had the J Porks podcast on Tuesday. you had a very special edition of Dyze in your house, which was funded by Dirty Rubles with Greg Oliar. You had that on Wednesday. Yesterday, you didn't have me. If you follow my other YouTube channel, you did have me. Me and my girlfriend were at Third Eye Blind. Where was it? At the Hard Rock Hotel and Casino in Atlantic City. Atlantic City, the city that used to be nice, that a certain fascist wannabe despot orange cunt monkey destroyed. But it's alright, because from the slums, from the ashes of the slums, rises the blizzard of us. I've had a long week, so don't mind me if I'm not making sense right now. Maybe I've had a long week, or maybe there's just been, you know, another week where it's, you can't get away from this news cycle. And I'm still trying to focus in on what I want to actually, which lane I want to go in today. I've so many directions, but I mean, you know what I'll do? We'll do, what was it, Montana? We'll do the Montana rally, because that is just, I don't even know anymore. Like, all right, so check this out, right? We're ordering room service. Me and my lovely girlfriend, after the Third Eye Blind show. We're in the hotel. We're being total limousine liberals, Got the television on, MSNBC, blasting. So, they showed the clip from the Montana rally. So, I'm looking at the TV, trying not to regurgitate my awesome $16 chicken fingers and my awesome burger that had onion rings on it. It was a lituation. And the piece of cake. So Trump is like, let's just, because I guess he's testing out, like, his 2020 opponents. He thinks he's making it there. Lulz. But I think he's trying out his 2020 opponents on the campaign trail, because I think somebody told him, hey, Hillary Clinton isn't a thing anymore, so stop talking about her. So he says, if I'm debating Pocahontas, talking about Elizabeth Warren, and then he says, I'd apologize to the real Pocahontas, but not to Elizabeth Warren, and then he starts talking about, I would be debating her, and I would toss her an Ancestry, one of those 23andMe kits, Ancestry or something. So if you pause right there, right, because we all know Elizabeth Warren is like 1/16 Native American. She does have Native American bloodlines. That is real. But also, she's not the High Chief Peter Maivia. Like, she's 1/16th or 1/12th or even 1/6th. Either way, it's not her dominant, background. So if you stop right there, and in my mind, the pause was very long. When I'm gonna toss one of these kits, and I'm like, I'm thinking, he's fucking got it. Like, that is, like, whoever wrote that, that's a legit good burn. Like, I hate it, but it's true. Like, the burn was good. And then he kept going. And it got really bad. So he wants to toss her one of these Ancestry kits because he doesn't think she's really Native American. He'll pay $1 million if she's Native American or something like that. $1 million of his own money, he says. Spoiler alert, he don't got $1 million. He don't even got 1,000,000 rubles. He might be spending your taxpayers' money on that $1 million for the Ancestry kit. So he says, I'll toss it to her because the only reason that she thinks she's Native American is because her mother told her she has strong cheekbones. Well, that went off a cliff pretty quickly. But these people, they're cheering, they're loving it. They're loving just outright racism. They just eat it up like chocolate cake at the Hard Rock. So, he didn't stop. You know what I'm saying? Like, he said, and I'm gonna toss it to her gently because we're in a Me Too generation. I never thought I'd be echoing the words of Chrissy Teigen, but does this guy know how the 23andMe kits work? Where does he think you swipe? I wouldn't want to injure her arm in the Me Too generation. We have to be gentle. Wait a second. So, because a couple of women, because 30% of, you know, the world's women who have been abused came out, you think that actually, I mean, I don't want to say, do you think that actually matters, but, I mean, the reason why roughly 70% of abuse victims don't come out is because of shit like that. People making fun of your abuse, you know, minimizing it. Oh, we live in a Me Too generation, so we have to be gentle. No, actually, we should have been, not gentle, but like, if you want to be like a gentle, like they always say, like, be a man, like, being a man is treating women with respect and dignity. And if you don't like anybody, you don't have to interact with those people if they're not your boss or something. So don't sit here and get, like, he's mad. They're mad that, you know, that women spoke up about being groped. They got mad at that. They're angry. These women should stay in their place. These women belong in the kitchen barefoot and pregnant. Like, what has happened to the Republican Party? Listen, for all of the things that I'm against, and that's everything the Republican Party is for, 5 years ago, like, at least they can sit there and be, like, and they can say, well, you know, we're the moral high ground, we listen to the Bible, we listen to this. Have you seen Jim Jordan? Jim Jordan, a student at Ohio State who was sexually abused, told Jim Jordan when he was working there, when he was like an assistant coach or something, a strength and conditioning coach, told Jim Jordan that the trainer stuck his thumb up his ass. And Jim Jordan's on TV today saying that that's just locker room talk. Where have I heard this locker room talk before? Kiss your Republican Party goodbye, my friends. And listen, even if Trump makes it and wins 2020, like, the Republican Party is over. It's done. If you don't believe me, ask Rick Wilson. Ask Steve Schmidt. Ask Nicole Wallace. Ask John Scheinler. 20 Committee. It's harder to pronounce his last name. Just say 20 Committee. Ask Luis Mensch. Ask every conservative in the world. Every normal conservative in the world that doesn't bow to the words of Trump. Like, you know, one anonymous GOP senator, aide, said, the Republican platform has been reduced to 3 words. Whatever Trump says. And I'm sorry. If you're somebody who's like, you know, lived in DC your whole life, being a politician, trying to appease constituents, and now you just have to bend over the table and take a thumb up the ass from Donald Trump, who's taking a thumb up the ass from Vladimir Putin, what? You've wasted your life. A Republican that doesn't stand up now, a Republican in the Senate, in the House, that doesn't stand up now and say that this is wrong and this is crazy and this is not normal behavior, they wasted their lives. They wasted their lives being politicians. That's not what they wanted to be. And even if you want to say, oh, Jay, well, all politicians are snake oil salesmen. Okay. They wasted their whole lives selling snake oil, their snake oil, and now they gotta sell this guy's snake oil. Even though their entire life was based on selling their own snake oil. It's disgusting. It's appalling. If you got a chance, I mean, listen, I never suggest to anybody to go out of your way to listen to what this clown says. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, that one sentence, I mean, it's amazing how bad. It's amazing how that would kill any. Forget politician. Saying those words in a row would get anybody's job lost, any politician's seat taken, any supporters would leave. Not Colt 45, man. This is not normal to the point where, I mean, I know we all joke about, like, you know, we gotta move to Canada, like, yo, like, the Yankees are playing the Toronto Blue Jays right now, and Toronto looks like a regular city to me. So, I mean, and I live in New York, and we got a border. So I say we go. So just go out of your way and watch this asshole. And then, and then show your Trump supporting friends and ask them what this is about. What is this? And if they still support him, then you know what? Then they can't be saved, and they're just going to spread their hate speech all around. I mentioned it on earlier podcasts. I'm going to keep mentioning it because everybody should be doing this. If you're posting pro-Trump stuff on social media, you're posting hate speech. Because the fascist regime that runs this country supports white supremacy, taking rights away from women by old white men, and marginalizing minorities and locking Spanish kids in cages. Like, that's what this is. So if you wear a MAGA hat, which, by the way, nice on that guy throwing the drink in the face. I mean, alright, maybe not nice. Just publicly shame them. Stealing property is one thing. And yeah, doing that invited Don Jr. to do the tweet that started the firestorm in the first place. Now they arrested the guy for taking a hat. But here's the thing, that hat, those posts, that is hate speech. That is not political commentary. Saying you want to lock children in cages is not political commentary. It is hate speech. And it needs to be reported to Twitter, Facebook, wherever you see it. And I've already been doing it. And some people I know, they might be getting emails, they might be getting warnings, they might even get blocked, they might even get their account suspended. But you know what? That's because they wanted to go online and spread hate speech. See, when someone like me shares an article about corruption in the White House, that's not the same as you supporting it's hate speech. It's hate speech. Guys, I've had a long week, so my mind is a little all over the place. But I do want to hit this one other thing that I am going to hit on Monday. Monday, we got a big episode of the Jay Parks podcast. We got the thread count. Greg Olear is making an appearance. Alias Vaughn's making an appearance. They're all making appearances. Rick Wilson might. I've got something on the Trump and pedophilia that we're gonna tackle. That Greg Olear put me onto, and it's gonna be big. But I just want to say this: like, all these missing children and all of the stuff at the border going on. Like, I know that a lot of America is under the impression that they lost these kids because they're irresponsible and they don't know how to do their jobs. That's not why the kids are lost, and that's not why the girls are lost. The young girls are being taken away because sex trafficking. I'm sorry to burst it. I know it's a sick and sad thing to think about. But like, if you thought locking kids in cages because, you know, they were seeking asylum, if you thought that was heinous, they're taking like 5-year-old girls and they're taking them away from their family and they're putting them in the foster care system. And some of them are being, air quotes, lost. What that means is they're being fed to organizations that specialize in human trafficking and child sex work. And that's why Trump pardoned Jack Johnson, the boxer. Because that boxer was charged. His crime was he had a white girl in the car with him, so he was transporting. It was basically human trafficking in that time, racist human trafficking. So Trump pardoning that guy means that that's not a crime. So it loosens up. And listen, I'm not chapter and verse on the human trafficking laws, okay? Here's what I know. That they are taking immigrant babies at the border and they are taking them away from their family to grow up to be sex workers. And maybe not even grow up. Because I've talked about it before. The spoiler in the big Trump PP tape that Vladimir Putin has, the spoiler is that there is no urine. There is no urine involved in that tape. The P does not stand for piss. The P stands for pedophilia. Okay? It's worse than Trump getting peed on. And again, we're going to get into more of it on Monday in the J Parks podcast. We got a lot to tackle. And I just need you guys to stick with me. And it's summertime. So since it's summertime, I ain't got no job. So since I ain't got no job, I mean, listen, I was watching television and I saw like the unemployment rate and all these new jobs added, and it's weird because I don't have one. I'm sitting here unemployed. Not only unemployed, but I'm not going to get an unemployment check until August, dog. August. So you tell me that getting a job in Catholic school was a good idea for me. So I'm sitting here, I ain't got no job. So that means we are coming to you with more stuff on Least Coast Radio. Listen, people can have shows on Least Coast Radio if they want. People that aren't me. If they don't want them, I can do voices. So basically, you need to keep it locked. Follow Least Coast Radio on Twitter. That's at Least Coast Radio. You follow me there. Smash that subscribe button on YouTube. Smash it on iTunes. Keep it locked. Monday, we got a big episode of the J Parks podcast. We're going to break down why human sex trafficking should no longer be a thing. J Parks podcast.
Representing Staten Island.